What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Evil Dead the Game video. Today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks that have helped me find success when playing as the Kandarian Demon. Now, I know that there is a massive learning curve when it comes to playing as demons, so I hope this video can help you get past that curve a little bit and start taking down some survivors yourself. First of all, let's start by talking about Cheryl. I know a lot of you are probably coming here with frustrations towards Cheryl and how she is crazy useful for survivors and her ability to heal an entire team within mere seconds. So I'm going to tell you this in the least toxic way I can. Just tunnel her. You know, I know you hate to hear it. I mean, trust me, I do too. But right now, she's potentially the only thing stopping you from getting a win. So, do what you got to do, all right? They pick Cheryl. They know what they got themselves in for. And trust me, just go for them. Man, finish them off and get them out of your way. And then you could take down the other team probably pretty quickly too. Honestly, it's a good strategy. I'm sorry. In all seriousness, let's dive into some legitimate tips, starting first with don't forget your skill points. Now, this is crucial for both demons and survivors. We're starting to get to the point where players really understand their characters and are upgrading them like crazy. You need to do the same to be successful as a demon. So for me, I start by focusing on my balance bar. The balance bar is what determines whether or not you get stunned as a deadite. You know, when you're fighting survivors and you are suddenly unable to swing, yeah, that's due to your balance bar being depleted. So level these up across the board just to avoid this. Ideally, entirely, it's still going to happen, but it will help a ton. Also, focus on what fits your play style best. I mean, if you're Elagos and you love possessing people, then upgrade that along the way too. But seriously, this is crucial for you winning as the demon. Remember, the survivors are doing it too, and they're not holding back. So be sure to upgrade your shit along the way as well. Now let's dive into a game. At the start of the game, the only way you can find survivors is truly by them messing up. I mean, if they are to shoot long-range weapons, drive a car, or have their fear too high, you would then be able to see them on the map. If these things do happen, you'll be notified on the left side of your screen underneath their mini-map, so make sure you're paying attention to that, and their heads will pop up on the map too. And if you get close enough to survivors, you'll be notified of this as well, but you do have to be pretty close, so, I mean, you'll probably find them regardless. So since it's so difficult to find survivors at the beginning of the game, what you need to do is prep for when you are guaranteed to find them, and that's at the pages and the dagger. Start the game by going to these locations and setting traps everywhere, especially on crates, as these will give you the most XP to level up your threat level. Not only will this level up your threat level, but it'll also help you prep for when the survivors get to these objectives, as they'll be hitting your traps left and right. If at any time during this process of setting traps, a survivor is spotted on the map, stop what you're doing and head straight to them. Yeah, it's nice having traps there, don't get me wrong, but the second you can add pressure to the players, you need to do it. A little tip that has helped me, you can make an educated guess on where the survivors may be based on where the dagger and pages are located. The map pieces, although not always, tend to be several hundred yards away from these items, so it's not a bad idea to move away from these areas when searching for survivors. Also, don't forget that you can also find the map pieces yourself, as you'll be alerted to them when you get close enough. If this happens, you'll know the survivors are coming, and you can trap the hell out of this area too. Now, the best way to keep pressure on survivors in the early game is to set traps on them as they go in and out of buildings. They'll almost always run into these, and this will increase your threat level, raise their fear, and you can even start dealing damage and have them waste resources like colas, amulets, and ammunition. The more you do this early in the game, the better your chances are as you get to those bigger objectives like the dagger pages and, of course, the dark ones. Also, for the love of God, do not forget about your charge ability. This ability not only scares survivors and launches their fear levels up, but it also replenishes a ton of your infernal energy. If you drop a bunch of traps or units on survivors and then run out of energy, you can quickly jump scare the survivors, regain energy, and then keep that pressure on them. Seriously, this is an unbelievably clutch ability, so make sure you're using it effectively. So let's talk about threat level, as we've already mentioned it a few times here. Your threat level is what gives you skill points that you can apply to your demon. These skill points are crucial for success, and I mean to the point that you can't even spawn any Deadite units until you can actually use a point to unlock them. Now, how you spend your skill points is up to you, but let me tell you what has given me the most success so far. For early levels, I'm going to be applying my skill points almost exclusively to Infernal Energy and Possession. Since I primarily play Elagos, having more infernal energy and dealing more damage when possessing players and Deadites is pretty crucial to me, but even for other demons like Necromancer and Warlord, these will always come in handy, so maybe that's the way to go for you too. Also, leveling up your traps early on can be extremely useful, as you're using them, pretty much the entire game, so why not have them be maxed out? You also want to make sure you unlock your elite and your boss unit as soon as you can. So at level 5, you can use a skill point and unlock your elite units, and at level 10, you can unlock your boss unit. As time goes on, continue to upgrade these units to deal out more damage and increase their overall health, and I can't reiterate this enough, finding a way to level up quickly is key. My goal is to be at the very least at level 10 before all of the map pieces are found. If you can go into level 10, have your boss ready before they even get to the pages and dagger, you're in a pretty good position to deal out a whole lot of damage and get a win. But it's not guaranteed, obviously. One of the best ways to level up, especially if you're playing as Elagos, is to possess survivors and deal damage to their teammates. When doing this, pay attention to who you're possessing and when. For example, if there is an Evil Dead 2 Ash in the game, he has the ability to unpossess players and your basic units. So if you're next to him, perhaps avoiding possessing, or if possible, possess him. Also, your energy instantly starts dropping when you possess something. If it runs out, you're automatically exercised, so make sure you have enough to make the possession worth it, or you may just waste energy for nothing. Keep in mind as well that the rarity of the weapons and abilities of the survivors also apply to you when you possess them. So knowing that a hunter character is in the game, and that they have a rare long-range weapon, if you possess them, you can deal out a ton of damage with their long-range weapon. Or if you're possessing a warrior like Henry the Red, know that the melee damage is much greater on these characters and can destroy survivors' health too. It's just important to keep these things in mind and strategize accordingly. And then lastly, for possessing players, the player that you possess also takes damage. So, it's a huge win-win for you, so take advantage of it, man. Keep those spirit levels high, possess those players, and get your level up quickly. Now, a huge tip that I often see new demons struggling with: when you possess cars, don't even try to hit survivors with it. 1, it rarely does any damage, and 2, it'll drain your infernal energy so quickly that it's basically pointless to begin with. I know it seems fun to get in a car and run over some people, but seriously, it doesn't really work, so there's no point in doing it. The only real benefit of possessing a car is to slow down the survivors when heading towards their next objective. If possible, you can even try to flip the car to make it completely unusable, but don't forget, if survivors shoot the car, it'll deplete your infernal energy too, so if you're going to possess a car, drive it away very quickly and effectively. Just get that thing out of play. Don't worry about hitting any players with it. Last but not least, on possession, remember that possessing any Deadite that you have in play will replenish their health. So if you have an elite unit about to die, you can possess them and then continue to inflict a whole lot more damage onto those survivors. You even bring back the Deadite's missing limbs when you possess them. So, seriously, it can be extremely useful, and it really doesn't cost that much infernal energy to do so, and you get a whole bunch of benefit from doing it. Now, when it comes to which demon you are playing as, make sure you understand your abilities. Henrietta is more of your tank character that is about charging and smacking the shit out of survivors, but on all demons, don't just button mash, okay? Use your abilities effectively. For example, with the Elagos boss, yes, he can smack the hell out of you and do a ton of damage, but he can also send out a shock to stun multiple characters at once, he can hit you from a distance, and he goes invisible when he's moving. So, knowing this and using it strategically can save you. Don't just run up to a Henry the Red and expect to down him easily just because you're a boss unit. He will smack you, he will stun you, and it's just going to end up being a waste of your boss unit, and then you have to wait 2 minutes for it to come back. So, keep that in mind. Use your abilities. With Necromancer, for example, the flute player is crucial for your success. Don't just spawn him in the open, though. Hide him in nearby buildings, behind trees, etc. Don't make it easy for the survivors to find him and kill him, because with that flute player out there, you can deal a whole lot more damage, and seriously, you need it, okay? You're gonna need that extra damage. Now, that's what I mean by understanding your abilities. It's not just about button mashing and getting kills. That strategy will almost never work. So that's it. A handful of tips that will help you get started as the Kandarian Demon. I hope this helps out, and if you have any further tips for the community, drop them in the comments below. But But that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.